So it looks like Ukraine is getting licensed to build Aster-30 anti-missile interceptors. French approval for the Ukrainians to build their own Aster-30s follows a similar announcement from President Trump about Patriot interceptors. If you didn't know, recently Trump commented saying that he would give the Ukrainians a license to make Patriot interceptors as well. Today we're going to be reading from the Warzone website, so all credit to them. So French President Macron says Ukraine is in line to get a license to produce their own Aster-30 missiles domestically. Aster-30 is the anti-air interceptor used in the SAMP-T surface-to-air missile systems, examples of which are already in Ukrainian service. The Franco-Italian SAMP-T is often described as an analog to the US-made Patriot, and both systems offer Ukraine vital anti-ballistic missile capability. The Ukrainians are still in desperate need of additional capacity to shoot down incoming Russian ballistic missiles, especially amid shortages of missiles for its Patriots. Just last week, U.S. President Donald Trump also said he would approve a license for Ukraine to domestically produce Patriot interceptors. Significant questions remain about the exact timeline for when the Ukrainians might begin domestic production of munitions for either system, along with a host of other factors that will need to be addressed. And the French President Macron said, and he spoke recently with Ukrainian President Zelensky and British Prime Minister Starmer and the German Chancellor Merz at a press conference at the Coalition of the Willing Summit today in Paris. A total of 25 world leaders were in attendance at this event. The governments of Ukraine, Denmark, France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Norway, Spain, Sweden, and the United Kingdom also announced the creation of an integrated anti-ballistic missile coalition, and the coalition will pool resources to develop new anti-ballistic missile defense capabilities. So earlier this afternoon, Ukrainian President Zelensky and I agreed on a roadmap between our two countries, implementing what had been agreed in principle last November regarding our bilateral defense cooperation, French President Macron said at a press conference today. And this is set to include the licensed production of Aster-30 as well as the AASM Hammer series precision-guided bombs and the Scalp cruise missiles. France has already supplied tranches of all three of these munitions to Ukraine. It's also worth noting that Ukrainian forces have also received Storm Shadow cruise missiles from the British, which are nearly identical, if you didn't know, to the Scalp. And Macron also highlighted planned deliveries of SAMP-T and SAMP-T-NG surface-to-air missile systems to Ukraine, which are set to start at least later this year in late 2026. The SAMP-T-NG is an upgraded version of the baseline SAMP-T type and is designed to offer an expanded engagement envelope, both in terms of altitude and maximum range with how far it can travel, primarily through the inclusion of new radars. The French and Italian versions of the SAMP-T-NG differ in the exact radar used. The French Thales GF300 or the Kronos Grand Mobile HP from Italy's Leonardo company. Improved Aster-30 variants are also being developed and designed currently, and Ukraine recently has two baseline SAMP-T systems, one from France and the other is from the Italians. In addition, the French President Macron talked about progress in Ukraine's planned acquisition of French-made Rafale fighters, with the goal now being to deliver the first 16 of those aircraft in the 2028 to 2029 timeframe. And the move by French authorities to allow Ukraine to produce Aster-30s domestically in Ukraine is particularly significant. Russian ballistic missiles, including ground-launched types and the air-launched, Kinzhal have and continue to present a threat that is especially difficult for Ukraine to manage currently. Ballistic missiles hurtle back to Earth at very high speeds in the terminal phase of flight, making them very challenging to intercept compared to other kinds of missiles in general. In recent years, Russia has also begun using ballistic missiles with enhanced maneuvering capabilities to make them even more difficult to knock down, even by more advanced air defense systems like Patriots. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you want to stay up to date with everything war and military related, not just Russia-Ukraine conflict, make sure you subscribe, especially if you are new. It sucks, but most people that watch my videos aren't even subscribed. Why would you be a weirdo like that, man? It takes 2 seconds. I put my heart and soul into these videos, keeping you up to date. And drop a like, a thumbs up is greatly appreciated, guys. It helps me out in the YouTube algorithm, pushes my videos to new people. Type a comment down below of what you think about Ukraine getting the license to build Aster-30 anti-missile interceptors and the approval by Trump about making Patriot interceptors. We'll see if that actually goes down, but I did make a video previously about that if you want to watch it. So take a look, check out the older videos on my channel. Guys, lots of content to binge watch, and I hope you have a good day. See you in my next video.